We'll be discussing about the financial dimensions. So financial dimensions are also called as an accounting segments. Used to record transactions. Used while recording the transactions. So let's say, for example, in our example, we are legal entities smart pro learnings, right? So within our training institute, let's say we are going to have different types of courses. So that means in the you will have a different multiple departments also, right? So multiple IT teams will be there. Maybe for Dynamics 365 there is a dedicated team, and for any other Oracle, SAP, or any other software, cybersecurity, a lot of, like, let's say if you're offering some 10-15 courses, so you will have 10-15 I mean, like almost like 15 departments. So their the maintenance or their trainers salaries, all these things will have to maintain it separately, right? And also if you in case if you are also into some laptops business and any software installation business, you'll have multiple expenses to be incurred and multiple sources of revenue will be there. By end of the financial year or every like month end or something, if I ask you what is the total revenue from this particular source, and what is the total amount that what is the total revenue that has been generated from the sales of laptops, installation services, right? So we need to have a even though we have the main accounts, but apart from the main accounts, let's say also let's say if you want to know the just total revenue from the sales department from the laptops, different types of laptops, that is different. I mean, that's a again individually if you want to know, that's a different, but overall laptops, it is just a group. If you want to if you want to divide the revenue, or if you want to classify the revenue, classify the expenses, how will you do that? So for that we need to have a financial dimensions. Also, if I take example, if you have different branches like Bangalore, Hyderabad, Chennai, and if you want to know what is a revenue, what is a profit from Hyderabad branch, and if you want to know what is a profit from Bangalore branch, so how will you maintain how will you get the details? So while posting the transactions, see, company name will remain same. See, in all three branches, you will have the in all the three locations, the three cities, you will with the same company we are going to have the business, but three different branches. In three different branches, how will you get the profits? Like if you look at the ERP, Dynamics 365, while posting the transactions, in case if there is something called as a I mean, we need to have this financial dimension, so that while posting the transactions I can select, let's say if I'm paying rent, right? Rent for Hyderabad building, rent for Bangalore building, rent for Chennai building. So this is how we need to post to the transactions. So these financial dimensions will help you to get more details about the uh, I mean, while whenever you look at the transactions, right, you will get to know more details about for what reason the transaction has been posted, for what reason the entry, I mean, for which branch it has been created. So all these details you'll get to know. So far, any doubts here?
Okay.
So basically, it will give you some meaningful information, right? So whenever you post any transaction, randomly, if I just post a rent, Hyderabad, I mean, if you do not name the rent, Hyderabad name, so how will you get to know? So for that reason, we will have to use these financial dimensions, or also called as accounting segments.
So here we tell about what the transaction is for, like we are paying the rent,
Simply,
so and
so let's
so.
say, for example, rent for Hyderabad building. And end user has to record this transaction in ERP. How will you record? Rent is an expense account. That is 10,000. Let's say we are paying through cash. So this is entry. Rent expense account data to cash account. But nowhere I have mentioned it is an Hyderabad branch. And let's say if you're posting 3 4 entries, and how will you identify whether this amount has been paid to Hyderabad building, or let's say if you want to know the expenses of Hyderabad branches, all current electricity expenses, cleaning, maintenance, rent, all expenses if you want to know. So that's the reason and we cannot create a main account in the name of Hyderabad, right? There is a city name, it is a location name. So whatever we this is only for our internal reference. See, rent is a transaction that had happened, and where it had happened, where did the transaction took place? That in Hyderabad. And this Hyderabad is only for your recording purpose, right? I mean, this is for your reports purpose. Rent is an expense, cash is an asset account which has been reduced, and rent is an expense account for which we need to show 10,000 as a debit. But where does it shows that I paid 100,000, 10,000 for Hyderabad? So for that reason, these are main accounts. Rent account is a main account, and cash account is also a main account. But what about the Hyderabad? So for that reason, to make it easy while posting the transaction, or to have a complete details of this transaction, we will, let's say for example, in a layman terms, if I just add it as a Hyderabad, assume that we do not have any software, you're just maintaining the records in manually, like in an Excel sheet or any book, in a notebook. If I write it as a, listen, this is an entry, rent expense account data, the bracket Hyderabad, this is only for my understanding purpose, then easily you will get to know for which branch you paid. But since we are using the ERP, we cannot write as a branch. I mean, okay, even if I add as a, like, description or a notes or any if I tag this as Hyderabad, while pulling the report, I cannot pull the report with the name of Hyderabad, right? For that reason, we will create a financial dimensions, so that while posting the transactions, right? Anyway, since we have not posted the transactions, it will, in the coming classes we are going to post the transaction. So while posting the transaction, along with this rent expense account, we can tag this Hyderabad branch. And going for any expenses, any transactions that you're going to post, right? So immediately you will get to know for which location, or for which, see, this is location is not only the purpose, or you can see that someone has joined. I think guest user, can you just go on mute? Yeah. So similarly, you might have a number of departments as well. Internally, HR department, finance department, lot of departments will be there, right? So even in that case, also you can use this financial dimensions. So this will help in preparing the, like, financial, like, reports. And let's say if you want to know the departments, like you might be having a number of departments, branches, locations, right? So we can create multiple such financial dimensions. Let's say for example, branches, departments, and if you want to have any business units, right? Let's say for branches, Hyderabad, and let's say within company, let's say if you have multiple departments like finance, IT, sales and marketing. So we cannot create a main accounts in these names, right? So these are for our internal purpose. Let's say business units means like different, if you have multiple verticals of your business, Let's say IT training is one of your business unit, and installation services, right? And any laptop, any digital product sales. So let's say if you're running three different businesses, right? And business units. You have three different business verticals that I can say: IT training or installation, laptop sales. And this is just an head. This will call it as an account segment, right? These are multiple account segments we need to have it, so that while posting the transaction, end user, he can post. Let's say if you have received an income, or if you generated the income out of the installation, so we will post a general entry, that is cash or bank account account data to uh, laptop sales or any installation revenue. We can create multiple such, but sorry, to laptop sales. But in bracket, if you want to add, like if you want to add this business unit, so let's say we have already created one revenue. So we out of laptop sales, let's say we have received some 1 lakh. I'll just write the brand name. I'll not use any account segment name. So let's say this is how the entry, if you keep on posting the entries, so how will you know whether this is related to which segment? So for that reason, if I, while posting the transaction itself, if I just add it as a laptop, right? This laptop sales, if I add it, then you will get to know what is the total amount that you generate. If this is the only transaction, then you can easily identify. If there are some hundreds of transactions, like laptop accessories that you're going to sell, but all those accessories, whatever that you're going to sell, everything will, if you want it, it should fall under laptop business unit. Then let's say if you are selling one charger, right? Even the charger, power bank, any repairs related, right? So all those related revenue, that if you want to add it, or if you want them to reflect under the laptop, so in the bracket, or we'll create a segment for that. So let's say if you're having, if you're into supermarket business, you will have any food products will be there, digital products will be there, any kitchenware, clothes, a lot of things will be there, right? So you will have to create a multiple business units. So this is how we can create the financial dimensions. And we have two different types of financial dimensions are there. One is entity backed, and the other one is custom dimensions. So when I say entity backed, so basically these financial dimensions are applicable, or these are used only for that particular legal entity. And these are something which you can create on your own. And custom dimensions are something where, like most of the, okay, sorry, these custom dimensions will be creating for this particular legal entity. Entity backed are something which are created somewhere else, but it will reflect. I'll show you in the tool, so that you'll get to know how does that looks. And then I'll explain in the theory part as well. So here the navigation for financial dimensions is under the general ledger, chart of accounts, dimensions. We have a financial dimensions here. Yeah. So the disclaimer says that we cannot activate the financial dimension. Yes, there is a limitation with the trial environment. So as I mentioned, so these are the financial dimensions which are already there here. So let's say, for example, if I click on new, here under the drop down, I have this entity backed financial dimensions. And custom dimension is something which which I can create my own. So let's say for the our legal entity SPL, right? And currently, if I want to have a branches, departments, locations, I can create any custom dimensions. Or entity backed or something which are created somewhere else, but it will reflect here. Or you can select it from which are already there here. You can see it here. And even in this custom dimensions, sorry, even in this entity backed, you cannot see the name here, but you can only see custom dimensions and remaining. So remaining are entity backed. We will call it as an entity back. These are specifically related only for this particular legal entity, but manually it is not necessary because customers, if you look at here, customers, we are not going to create a financial dimensions. But in accounts receivable module, you might have already created, but it will reflect in financial dimension. But that you will understand it in the later part. For the timing, you need to understand we have two different financial dimensions. One is custom and one is entity backed. Custom dimensions are the as per your requirement we can create. Like it is not necessary that you need to follow only these terminology. Any like business units or if it is not available, you can create as per your requirement. Departments, locations, or in case if you want to give the names like a product names, you can give that also. And you can see it here like stores, vendors, all these are not created. These are created somewhere else, but it will reflect here. And as I mentioned in our example, okay, now we'll go to our legal entity, that is SPL. Since we do not have any financial dimensions, we will go ahead and we'll create that. Yeah. So now we will create a financial dimensions under the general ledger. So this is a disclaimer, and it says that unless and until you do not have the LCS active, you'll not be able to generate or activate the financial dimensions. But I'll just show you here, but later I'll get activated it from the backend. So in our example, we have decided to create a, let's say SPL, I'll give it as a SPL departments. So this is a custom name, right? I wanted to give it as custom name because I do not want to use anything which is already there here. I wanted to create a custom name here. And if you want to add the report column name, you can add it or else you can ignore. And while creating the diamond, what is this, dimension value mask? So this is just an header level, right? This is SPL departments. Below that, again, I need to give a some HR department, finance department, and for that I need to give a unique value as well. So right. So again, we'll go back to this example. These are the financial dimensions. These are the values. Under each financial dimension, we have a three different values. It is not you can have unlimited n number of financial dimension values. We will call it as a values. All these are values again. And for let's say if you want to give a unique value for Hyderabad, let's say some 001 unique number. This will call it as a format, the or the mask. So end users, whenever they create a new financial dimension or the value, right? So uh, they need to know what is the format they're supposed to give. So for that reason, you can give it as a dimension value mask. Let's say I'll give it as some 4 digits. Hash indicates digit, so that as of now I cannot activate, but I'll get it activated from the backend. Even in your trial environment, you'll not be able to activate. There is a limitation, only this one. And because it requires LCS access, and that you'll get only in the production environment. But anyway, you can understand, you'll try, you can use existing financial dimensions in case if you want, but this is only for our understanding purpose. If you we can create n number of financial dimensions as per our requirement, that is a custom dimensions, and click on the dimensional values. Okay, I think once we activate, then only we can look at the dimension values. So I'll show you which one which are already there here. Let us delete this one. Yeah. So let me show you which are already activated here. So business unit, which is already activated, right? So we'll go to the dimension values. You can see it here. These are the trial. These are the since this is a trial environment, you can see there are a number of financial dimensions which are already activated. You can either use any of these things, or else you can go ahead and you can create a new one. So as since we have a challenge in activating this financial dimension from this financial dimension, we do have a one more option. I mean, this is only a alternate, since we do not we have a limitation with the LCS. For that reason, in organization administration, we have something called as the operating units. So within these operating units, again, if I click on new, I can see department, cost center, value stream, business unit. So we can create with the help of these operating units. But even these operating units are will again it will reflect under financial dimensions itself. So if you remember, entity backed financial dimensions are, I told, right. So these are dimensions which we are going to create it somewhere else, but it will reflect in financial dimension. See, directly we are not creating the financial in the financial dimension, right? So I'll just open the duplicate tab here. Example, standard process to create the financial dimension is general ledger, chart of accounts, and dimensions. So here we are supposed to create, correct? Or there's one more way, as I mentioned, you can create it from the operating units as well. Only for these one, which are already there. So it will reflect here as well. But we cannot change the name like SPL department or SPL cost center, that we cannot change. Only values you can add it here. So these are the financial dimensions which are already there, but within that we can add the values. So let's say I'll show you how does that reflects here. For example, department. First, let me remove this one. Yeah. So these are departments, right? You can see it here. Yeah. So you can see three different departments: 001, 02, HR, sales, and financial one. So, so here under department, I'll just click on OK. I think we do not have 4 digits so far. I'll just give it as a 4 digits one. Sorry, name I'll give it as a SPL HR department. And if you want to add any address or anything, you can add it here. Or and if you also want to give any controls who is in charge of this particular department, you can add it here. And let me add one more department. Okay, it says that 0001 already exists.
Sir, I think we use it for HR, sir. The same number.
Fine. I'll just give it as a fine. So this is just an example. Let me just show it here. Think it is not reflecting. I'm not sure why. We cannot activate this one anyway. But whatever we have created in the operating units, it should reflect. Okay, so SPL, it should reflect here as well. But let me see why it is not showing. In case if doesn't reflect, I think we'll have to use the existing one which is already there. Because anyway we do not have the LCS environment, that you will get only into the production. Once you get into the production, you can activate the financial dimensions. Let's see if it reflects here, that is fine. Yeah, I think we have a limitation. It will not reflect here, or else by default all these things should be active. Now it is showing as a inactive. Or we can create whichever that is active here. So within operating unit, let's see what all you can see it as active. Branch demo. Business unit is active here. So we'll try to create a business unit. So SPL training services. So I'll give the unique number as a 4 digits. So ideally it should reflect here under the business unit. If I go to the dimension values, yes, you can see it here. SPL training is reflecting. So even if this branches, right? So if any of these operating units, say the department, value stream, business unit, if you can see it activated here, you can use that one. Maybe you can check it in your trial version because it should be activated. There should be some backend issue, something, or else you can see this cost center is also activated, and even department only department CN it is showing as an activated, or else we can get it here. But even even if I add it here, I don't think we can activate this one. Let us give it a try. Okay, I think it fine. So we cannot delete the existing one because the transactions has been already posted. But if you want to add, better you can come back. You can add it here. We cannot create a new financial dimension and activate. For that reason, we can select from the entity back which are already activated, right? So just come here and open any of the financial dimension and click on the dimension values. Here we can give the name. Dimensional values we need not to activate so that you can create whatever you want. So here I'll give it as a SPL finance department. Sorry. And yesterday we have discussed about the controls in the financial, sorry, main account, right? Same logic is up, same explanation that is applicable even for these fields as well. Whenever you want to active this financial dimension for certain point of time or like for a period of time, like 1 month or 2 months, you can activate. And if you want to suspend, you can suspend. And do not allow manual entry in the sense no one will be able the end user will not be able to post the transactions using this financial dimension value, that anyway you will get to know once we start posting the transactions. And the same logic that is applicable for legal entity override. So in case if you are assigning these financial dimensions for multiple legal entities, then you can give the control for specific legal entity. So in our example we have decided to have a 3 different departments, right? Finance, HR, and IT and sales and marketing. 4 departments. Let us give SPL IT department. So only with the financial dimension you have this challenge, but rest of them we can directly create it. I'll give it as a sales and marketing. Fine. So we can create n number of such financial dimensions. And always remember, since this is a trial environment, we cannot activate. For that reason, we are using the existing financial dimensions which are already activated. But within that, we have created the dimension values. These are the values that we gave it here. So basically, financial dimensions are 2 types. One is custom dimensions, and these are the entity backed. These are something which are already created. you can use it by doing some changes. Or if you want to create a complete custom with your name, you do not want to use, let's say, business unit name. If you want to give the your legal entity name or SPL business or something, you can create your own as per your requirement, and even this dimension value as well. So I'll just remove this one and click on. So far, do you have any doubts here? I'll show you what is the purpose of this one. And while posting the transactions, anyway, we are going to use it. But before we post those transactions, I'll just show you how does the trial balance looks like. Let's say by month end, if you are looking for some reports, Hyderabad branch or somewhere, right? So this is a SPL we have not posted here. So it is better to go the check with the USMF so that you will understand what is the purpose of having the financial dimension. Or I'll just take any one random one. So there are a number of companies that are available. So I'll just take the USRT one. So anyway, we are going to discuss these inquiries and reports, trial balance in the coming topics. I just wanted to show you how does it helps, how does the financial dimension will help you to get the reports. So even this financial dimension set we can create, that also I'll show it here. So as of now, I didn't give any financial dimension set, but yeah, think there are no transactions. So let us give any combination here. So let's say main account plus business unit. Yeah, now you can see. So whenever you pull any report, right? So if you give the financial dimension, then you will get. So this is one of the entry that has been posted. So while posting this entry, the end user might have selected 006 as a business unit. So the business unit might be anything, right? So since they have selected the financial dimension while pulling the report, if you want to know the balances that what all transactions happen for this business unit, then we can apply the filter, right? Whenever you put in the report, we can apply the filter and you can get the transactions only for this business unit. So since we have a very limited transactions in USRT, I'll go back and I'll show it in the USMF itself. And we'll also change the dates here. We will select it as a 2019 where there are a lot of transactions happened. So these are financial dimension set that also we are going to discuss. So you can see it here. Business unit, V1 cost center item group. So these are the set that we have applied here. Or if you want to pull the report, that is only based on the department. So I'll give it as a set department. So there are no transactions in 2019. So if I select, so it is always suggested to select main account plus department or something. So without main account, we'll not be able to post any transactions. So I'll select the main account plus business unit. So you can see it here. So these transactions are posted for 002, only these two. If you do not give the financial dimension, how will you identify for which transaction this has been posted, accumulated depreciation and depreciation? So it is very difficult. So for that reason, while posting the transactions, we will use the financial dimension. Now again, we'll go back to this one more topic, that is the financial dimension set. So now we'll create the financial dimension sets that we have it here. And what do you mean by set, financial dimension set? So these are basically used while pulling the see, we have already created departments, and we have created let's say cost center business units, and along with that combination, in case if you want to give, let's say while pulling the report, main account plus department plus business unit. So these financial dimension sets. So whenever you pull the report, if you want to know rent account expenses that you spent for Hyderabad, let's say Hyderabad branch. So if you want to know the expenses, what is the total expense that you spent for the rent expenses to the Hyderabad branch and business unit, or maybe if you have a multiple buildings for installation services, HR building. So how will you identify? So for that reason, while posting the transactions, you can give multiple such financial dimensions. That also there is a restrictions that I'll explain in the account structure. We have a limitation that is 10 plus 1 financial dimensions maximum that you can use, and so these kind of combinations we can create it here, so that while pulling the report, you can we can pull the report with a combination like main account plus department or main account plus business unit or anything. So these are the financial dimensions which are already there, right? And let's say if you wanted to almost they have a number of combinations they have already created. What is- So a number of combinations which are already created, you can see it here, right? And if you want to create a new combination, so I can give it here. So I'll create a new combination. Let's say, for example, I want to give it as a main account plus department. So here you can see the list of all the financial dimensions which are already there. And here I'll select it as a main account. And do we have department? Yes, department. I'll move them here. So that now this will become the financial dimension set. Immediately after create is moving towards the right side, we'll have to update by clicking on the create balances. So that from back end whatever I mean it will just add it will just get activated, and whenever you pull the report in anywhere like trial balance or any other way, right? So we can select this as a combination. So let it be here. So now we'll go to the trial balance. I'll show you. Under inquiries and reports, trial balance. So here we can see, I think it will take some time. It has been added to the batch queue. Okay, it is still not added. It will take some time. You can see these are the combinations which we have given for other legal entities as well. So basically these financial dimension sets are created for the reporting purpose. So whenever you pull any reports, if you want to know the combinations, if you want to know the details of the transactions of a particular combination like uh, main account plus business unit or main account plus department, then this financial dimension set will help you. So far whatever we have discussed, right? Financial dimension and two different types of financial dimensions that you can see it here. So these are the financial dimensions. So far, do you have any doubts here with respect to what is the purpose of each and every financial dimension and how does it helps everything?
So one thing I can say something like financial dimension is something like category we can say this, right? Different categories under charts, which it's kind of a category.
Yeah, that we can say it as a
Chart.
category or anything. See, we in accounting terminology we will not use the word as a category because in supply chain management again we have a products categories and all. Just
Okay.
a account segments.
Segment.
See,
Segment. Okay. Segment. Yeah.
so
Segregation.
these correct. So you cannot club everything, right? So Hyderabad, Bangalore, Delhi branch, you
Yes.
cannot club
Yes.
everything.
Yes.
So for that purpose, you need again within Hyderabad, if you have a multiple locations, we can create dimension values.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So try to practice with the USML.